Sports Snippets, Dennis Sullivan here on a Sunday. It's the 20th of December. How are you? And if you're a Dolphin, you're feeling pretty good about things right now as the Miami Dolphins defeat the New England Patriots by a score of 22-12. If you do like the content of this particular video, go right ahead, guys, and hit that like button. It would be much appreciated, of course. Let's get right into it, guys. Now, this was a very defensive-oriented type game. Dolphins do get the victory, the hard-earned victory, 22-12 over the New England Patriots, who are now eliminated, believe it or not, from playoff contention. How often do you hear that? The New England Patriots eliminated from the playoffs? But they are. And the Dolphins really, we really had to just hope for some offense here. A much banged up Dolphin team. So you really do, even though it wasn't like the most inspiring victory about like what you're seeing out there as far as, shall we say, excitement goes, you got to feel really good about this one because the Dolphins are just so injury plagued right now. It's not even, it's not even like believable how many injuries we have right now. But they're pulling through and pushing through, and this sets up a really big game next week, and that is on the road in Las Vegas to play the Raiders. Let's get started. This was a game where we saw the Dolphin rushing game and running game come alive and stay alive. They would run for over 200 yards, which was just like almost unbelievable when you think about it. And of course, this was led by the explosive performance of Salvon Ahmed, who would actually wind up running for 122 yards on 23 carries and a touchdown. Matt Breida would chip in with 86 yards on the ground on 12 carries. Patrick Laird even got into the act with 2 carries and 20 yards. Tua would run for 9 yards on 3 carries, but Tua would run for 2 touchdowns in this game. Lynn Bowden Jr. added a run for 9 yards, and Malcolm Perry 1 carry, 4 yards. Through the air, this was not one of Tua's better games. He would go 20 out of 26 for 145 yards, no touchdowns, an interception. He was sacked twice. The receivers are, there's no Gesicki, there's no Devontae. He's basically going underneath. Now, I was a little bit surprised at the amount of, when I say Tua going underneath, there was, in that first quarter, there were plenty of times where you would see a Dolphin receiver wide open underneath what appeared to be a zone coverage by the Patriots, and he was starting to kind of pick away, or it's lefty for Tua, right? He would start to pick away at that defense, and he was getting those 10-yard completions over the middle, one after the other as the game would start. And then the Patriots make a few adjustments, and then that kind of slowed down for a while. Dolphins then rely on the running game, and it was a huge success. Over 200 yards running as a team. Outstanding. Durham Smythe led the Dolphin receivers with 40 yards receiving on 5 catches. Bowden Jr., who has really come on strong these last few weeks, had a big game last week. This time he was a little bit, against Patriots, a little bit quieter. He would have 6 catches, though, 37 yards. Mac Hollins, 2 catches, 18 yards. Isaiah Ford getting back into the swing of things with 3 catches, 18 yards for Isaiah Ford. Adam Shaheen added a catch for 15 yards. Patrick Laird, 2 catches, 12 yards. Ahmed added a catch for 5 yards, guys, for the Patriots. I tell you what, it's just so different watching them now. Cam is good, but it's like this Patriot team is just, they're kind of lost offensively. They've had injuries of their own. Let's not kid ourselves here. They've had some injuries here at both the running back position. Julian Edelman wasn't playing out there. Did not see him at all. He's been hurt on and off all season. Cam would throw for 209 yards, 17 out of 27. He wouldn't throw any touchdowns, nor would he throw any interceptions. He was sacked 3 times. Sony Michel had a nice game running the football. Patriots also ran the ball pretty well on the Dolphins. Michel would have 10 carries, 74 yards. Cam would add 9 carries, 38 yards. Cam would fumble twice, by the way, in this game. James White, 2 carries, 3 yards. J.J. Taylor added a carry for 2 yards. Jakobi Meyers would have a nice game for the Patriots. 7 catches, 111 yards. He did lose a fumble, however. White out of the backfield, 4 catches, 52 yards. Demir Bird, 3 catches, 24 yards. N'Keal Harry was very quiet, 1 catch, 12 yards. Michel, 1 catch, 8 yards out of the backfield. Dalton Keene added a catch for 2 yards. So what does all this mean, guys, as we move into the final 2 weeks of the season? Final 2 weeks, guys. We got to just take this win, feel good about the win. Feel good about the win, because I was looking up, as I always do, the last handful of years. I'm going to get to that in a second, so hang with me here. We're going to do a little, shall we say, last 20 years Dolphin history to close out this video. You're going to be like, it's going to raise your awareness and eyebrows like it raises mine every time I look at this and hear about this. But this was a big win. It ensures a winning season for the Dolphins, the team that couldn't win a game last year until, like, what was it, week 8 of the regular season or something crazy last year, is now 9-5. No matter what happens, they will have a winning season. You got the Raiders on the road and the Bills on the road. You need one more win, I would think, should definitely get them in the playoffs. Although the Dolphins did finish 10-6 way back when, I remember, with Ricky Williams, and did not make the playoffs. That was, I believe, the 2002 season or 2003, one of those. That was disappointing. But let's not even think about that right now. So this is really, really good to see. And it's a big credit to Coach Brian Flores, who has done a fantastic job with this team, overcoming the injuries, winning games, starting the rookie in Tua, just saying, you know what, this is our future, we're going to go with it. We got to give Tua credit, especially in this one, even though you look at his numbers and you're thinking, well, no, not really. I mean, he didn't play that great. But he actually did, because he didn't play great, but he did, in my opinion, he played well enough to win. And he didn't have many, these weren't exactly a top line of receivers he was throwing to. And his big targets out there in Gesicki and Devontae Parker were not in this game. So we got to give credit where credit's due to Tua for hanging in there in this particular game. Now, a little history, guys. Thank you for hanging in there with me on this video, watching it till the end. I want to share with you something. This is almost like a yearly event for me, where I go back and I look at the last 15, 20 years of the Dolphins, or I look at the Dolphin history. It's almost an annual event where I do that. I just go online, or I'm on my phone and I go through it, and I just kind of sit there going, oh boy, the drought continues, or when are we ever going to get back to a Super Bowl? As you know, I mean, it's been like 36 years or something since the Dolphins played in the Super Bowl. Last Super Bowl victory was 1973. Many of you watching this video weren't even alive then in 1973. I was barely alive. I was probably not just a few feet tall in 1973. So it's been a long road, to say the least. Then there were the Marino years where the team was getting into the playoffs, only to lose. He did lead us to that one Super Bowl right around 1984-ish, I'm going to say. And that was it, though. And Marino was a fantastic quarterback, one of the greatest all time. So this win would give the Dolphins its 6th winning season since 2002. That's it. Since 2002, this win today against the Patriots would ensure a winning season for the Dolphins, which is only their 6th since 2002. 18 years, guys. Now, once 2002 hit, if you ever want to look this up on your own, just Google it, or you just go online and Google it. Once 2002 happened, it appears that's when the Dolphins' misfortune and just periods of nothing happening would really excel. I mean, you look at the team history, and it's almost like this giant blank when you look at the time period 2002 to the present. The last playoff win for the Miami Dolphins was basically 20 years ago against the Colts, against the Indianapolis Colts, which took place in 2000. They've been to the playoffs only 3 times since 2002. So you look at it like that. Last playoff win, 2000. This hopefully would be the 4th playoff appearance for the Dolphins since 2002, hopefully this year. So what does this all mean? It means if you're a Dolphin fan watching this video, you know what I'm talking about here, and you know where I'm coming from. It's been a long stretch, guys. It's been a long stretch. It hasn't been fun for many years, let's be honest. When I hear comments or read feedback or comments, now you can comment any way you want on my videos, that's fine, you're entitled to your opinion. Or when I'm on social media or watching TV and hearing sports reporters or ex-players or experts talking about the Miami Dolphins, and they say things like, well, I mean, the important thing is that, the team's young and growing and improving and this, that, and the other, and no one's going to really argue that. And then you hear things like, well, of course, the Chiefs are the class of the AFC. No one's going to argue that, because I'll even tell you, the Chiefs are ahead of everyone else. It's almost like the Chiefs and everyone else in the AFC. Plus, you got Pittsburgh's very good. You got the Colts are very good. You got Tennessee's very good. There's other teams that I'm not even bringing up right now that are very good. But here's what I'm getting at, guys. Very important, if the Dolphins just get in the playoffs this year, for the growth of the team, for Tua, for Brian Flores, for everyone. A playoff appearance would be huge this year. I don't care if they go out and lose. Well, I kind of do. But if they did lose 38-3, at least they get into the playoffs, all right? At least they get in there, get the playoff experience, get Tua into the playoffs, get him some playoff experience, Brian Flores. It would be huge for this new era of the Miami Dolphins. So let me know what you think. Comment below. Guys, I know the Dolphins, if they were to make the playoffs, aren't expected to do anything. I get all that. Believe me, I get all that. But look at it like this. Crazy things have happened. Injuries can play a part of it. Crazy events in these games can play a part of it. Who knows? I mean, if the Dolphins weren't to get in the playoffs, and can you imagine if the Chiefs were upset in the second round of the playoffs? More than likely they will have a bye in the first round. Then we're going to be sitting here saying to ourselves, oh man, can you imagine if the Dolphins just snuck in? So we got to really hope for this one last win. Raiders will be Sunday. This is Dennis Sullivan, Sports Snippets, saying I will see you. Yes, you next time. Go ahead, hit that like button. We'll talk soon.